the wild winds call. Jasper's walking, taking pictures of it all. Boots on the ground, heart in the sky, following the blazes, just a rambling guy. Through the valleys, over the hills, chasing that freedom, feeling the thrill. With every sunrise, he's finding his way, living the dream, one step a day. Trail named Jasper, walking on through, Bruce Trail bound with a camera view, hiking the ridges, chasing the light. Like and subscribe, come follow his life.
Greersville Memorial Forest Side Trail. I love parking here. It's an excellent parking space off a side road. Again, kudos to the Bruce Trail Conservatory, the volunteers, the maintenance crews, just for creating free parking, no permit required. And it's great, and there's lots of these in the area. I've shown you some others before. Anyhow, good morning everybody. Today is May the 2nd. Yes it is, it's a Friday. It's another damp day, although it's not raining right now. Not as cold, but still cold. Not as rainy, but still raining. And not as windy, but still windy than it was the last time we were out here on this trail in our last video, just a few days ago. Today, well, we've again upped the pack weight by another couple of pounds, and today we want to increase the distance a little bit. The last 4 times I have done this particular hike over the last week or so, we've been doing 17 kilometers for the day. Today I want to up that, and I have a couple of choices. I can up it to 20 by extending the same hike that I have been doing, where we've been going to the Ambrose overnight rest area. If we just push past that another 1.5 kilometers to a parking area, call that our turnaround point, that will then give us 20 kilometers for the day. Or plan B, at the end of this side trail, once we hit the Bruce Trail proper, we can make a right turn, push deeper into the Beaver Valley section, and do an 11.5 kilometer out, 11.5 kilometer back, for a total of 23 kilometers for the day. So those are our choices today. But either way, we want to up it from the 17 that we've been doing, again, in our kind of training / hip rehabilitation, physio, if you want to call it that. So that is the plan, and I have got till the end of this side trail, which is going to come up really quite quickly, to decide if I'm going left for 20 kilometers or right for 23. Don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, again, good morning everybody. Jasper here. Welcome to yet one more wonderful day on the Bruce Trail here in wonderful Ontario. Oh yeah. By the way, for those of you who didn't know this, the Bruce Trail is Canada's longest organized hiking trail. It's 900 kilometers of main trail and over 400 kilometers of side trails. So it's really quite a lengthy trail. It's a long trail for sure, a major hiking trail. Oh yeah. For those of you out there that have planned, thinking about through hiking the Bruce, there's a lot of people that will tell you it's not a trail for that. Well, I'm here to tell you it's very much a through hiking trail, and it was originally created as a through hiking trail. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, but it was. And it's definitely doable. I have through hiked the Bruce Trail 6 times, and It's ranged between 34 to 36 days to complete, depending on, you know, my age over the years and the weather conditions and so on. Hey, once again, good morning everybody. Jasper here. Look at this. Just look at that. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get to hiking, shall we? So we decided, I made a decision at the end of the side trail, the Memorial Forest, I made the left turn. So today's hike, we are pushing for a total of 20 kilometers. We're going to go past where we normally turn around, which would be at the Ambrose overnight rest area. We're going to go to the next side road where there's, I think, a on-road parking, and we're going to turn around at that point. Again, that gives us a 20 kilometer day. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I do like this section of trail. It's so pretty. At certain spots, it's just gorgeous. The trail today, well, it's muddy, although it's a packed mud. We did have a lot of rain again yesterday and into the night. And with the wind, I was on here on this trail day before yesterday. I did this same hike, but the 17 kilometer one just to the Ambrose. But there was a lot of blowdowns. And I'm finding a lot of blowdowns again this morning. The winds have been strong. I keep moving what I can move. Smaller blowdowns, if you will. I move them off trail. Try to do my little bit of trail maintenance. But yeah, the kind of spring so far, although just a few days ago it was up to almost 30 degrees Celsius, but the spring so far has been wet, windy and cool. Now I know, just for a point of interest, in fact I commented on this over in the UK, where I'm going on the 26th of this month, sorry, the 28th of this month, to hike hopefully 3 trails. As we know, if you watch my announcement video, I don't want to talk a little bit more about those today while we're out here. But anyhow, they have been having absolutely beautiful sunshine, warm temperatures, gentle kind of trade wind breezes. Just gorgeous. And I commented, I said, guys, save some of the sunshine for me. When I get there, it will be typical Lake District, Yorkshire Dales and Yorkshire Moor weather of wind, rain. Oh yeah, cold, foggy. I hope not, but we'll see. Anyhow, as always, it's just a wonderful place to be where we are right now. I'm glad you're with me. Glad you're joining me this morning. I wanted to mention in the last video there was an awful lot of wind noise, and I do try to control that, but my wind muff did die a while back and I hadn't replaced it to cover the GoPro. I am ordering another one from Amazon. In fact, maybe I'll get that ordered tonight when I get home after today's hike. Hopefully I'll have it. Oh, I'd really like to have it before I left on the 28th to fly to the UK, because there's a lot of exposed areas. Well, it's all exposed on the trails I'm doing, so the wind muff will be vitally important for quality of audio in the videos. So I apologize about any wind noise today, although it shouldn't be as bad as the last video, simply because the wind, even though it's windy, is just not quite as strong. So it is work in progress, and we are recording with the GoPro Hero 8 Black. That is the camera that I actually went back to after I did upgrade a few years ago to the 9, and then I think a year and a half or so ago, or a year ago, to the 10. I ended up going back to the 8 both the 9 and 10 are both a couple of ounces heavier, a little bit bigger. But I went back to the 8. And so I did buy a used one from Amazon, which is what we're using today, and we have been using for quite a while now. But one thing I find is, with this particular unit, it doesn't always engage on record when I press the button. Sometimes you have to press it several times before it'll engage, and sometimes it engages right away. I mean, it works fine. Quality of video is great. The quality of still images is great. It's just that little issue with engaging or starting to record when I tell it to, basically. Okay, so I'd mentioned that to you. Yeah, trail's slippy, rocks are slippy. There's quite a lot of rocks and roots on this section of trail, although it's not like the Toronto section. Toronto section reminded me a little bit of the Pennsylvania or Rocksylvania on the Appalachian. Damn rocky. We've made it to the first rest spot on our trail. The trail where we're going. Down there. After our break, we tried to find again our little sheltered area because the wind is strong. And I know it affects the audio hugely. So as I'd mentioned earlier, I am going to get a new muff for the camera. A Kit Kat bar and my coffee. How Jasper-like is that? Well, very much so. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Right next to a road here, we just crossed that, the 7th line. I guess it's called the 7th line of Meaford, maybe, or the 7th line of Grey Bruce, but I think it's the 7th line of Meaford. In fact, at that line right there, if I walk 17 kilometers north-ish, I get to my summer house. I'm 17 kilometers down there. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. So yeah, wow, lots coming up. Next week, I'm still finishing off some work I have to get done to the summer house. I'm painting all the skirting around the cottage or the home, the park model, whatever. I'm hoping to have that done by, today's Friday, have that done by the end of Sunday. Next week, I'm hoping for a 2-day, 1-night wild camp out here on the Bruce. That will give me a good kind of gear shakedown for the gear that I'm taking with me on my UK hike. So we've got that coming up. Yeah. Woo. Yes. There's that cold. That wind is cold, man. It's cold. Wow. May the 2nd. The wind is still very cold. There's still snow back there. There's still snow on the side of this trail, about 2 kilometers, a kilometer and a half behind me. Oh yeah, on an embankment, packed snow. Still there. Oh well. As we're hiking down the trail, and it's hugely slippy today, so you have to be very, very careful with each step you lay down. But I'd like to talk a little bit about my upcoming trip, hiking trip in the UK, and the itinerary as it is, kind of thing. So if you watched my announcement video, thank you for watching it. If you didn't, go ahead and watch it. But anyhow, on the 28th of May, we're flying to Glasgow from Toronto. Direct flight, overnight Air Transat, arriving locally at around 6:50 a.m. in the morning. It's a good time to arrive. Hopefully get a decent amount of sleep on the airplane. The last time I went, I did Not sure how, I just sat there. Next minute I knew we were getting ready to land. That was it. But that doesn't happen to me very often. Anyhow, Scottish Rail, British Rail have train service out of Glasgow Central and Queen Street stations to St. Bees on their way to Euston Station, London. And with either Scottish Rail or British Rail, it's around 18 English pounds, around $35, $36 for a one-way fare, basic economy class. I arrive at 10 to 7 that morning. Now, I've been through the Glasgow airport before. It was pretty quick. It's not a huge airport. And right outside the main door, there's the bus number 500s, and there's lots of them. And they run downtown from the airport, which is the bus I take. Costs £10, $20. That puts me downtown, give or take, somewhere around 8 a.m. ish. Now, I have to pick up my butane for my cook system. There are outfitters in the downtown core of Glasgow. I've seen them, I've been in them, and I will go to, I'm going to say the nearest one, and pick up my butane, probably a single 8 ounce. I am a coffee drinker, as you know, so a single 8 ounce. And I know I can get butane on trail because there are outfitters on trail if I need it. And then I make my way to the train station. So I would have already purchased my ticket, got the advanced ticket rate. Otherwise, I'm paying 3 times the amount or more if I purchase it on the day. So if there's any delays in my flight, then I could lose out. But I've allowed myself probably 2 or 3 hours of time to pick up my butane, make my way to the train station. And I'm taking, I think it's a 10:38 or 10:28, 10:38 a.m. Train to Euston Station. I'm jumping off, of course, at St. Bees, which is around 2.5, 3 hours into the journey. That puts me in St. Bees at around the 1:30 mark. Going from the train station to the trailhead, collecting my pebble, of course, and dipping my toes in the Irish Sea. Starting the trail, give or take, somewhere around 2:30 that afternoon, depending on weather. If it's real shitty weather, I'll probably go to the campsite. There's a commercial campsite in St. Bees. There's a couple, I think. But all being well, I should be on trail somewhere around 2:30-ish on May the 29th. So it'll be a later afternoon start, mid-afternoon start. And there is, just about 2.5 miles in, there's, oh, excuse me, my allergies in my nose is just running. I'm going to have to blow it, excuse me. Oh dear, I do apologize. There is a camp barn. I think they charge about £10 for the night to set up a tent or get a bunk or whatever. So that is an option. But if not, a wild camp, I can probably hike. I don't know, even though I would have traveled all night and all day. Again, going back to hopefully getting some sleep on the airplane. Say 4 hours-ish. The days will be long. So if I hike 2:30 up to say around 6:30, about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours in, let's say, the first day. Maybe just find a wild camp spot somewhere out of the way, quiet, and I'll be fine. My supplies, there's lots of supply points, be it grocery stores in certain areas and small stores, pubs, cafes, here and there along the way. So I'm not going to be carrying a ton. I'm not carrying like a week's supply. I do plan on carrying about 3 days worth of food. That way, I'm not at the mercy of the stores to begin with anyhow. And I know that I can grab resupply items here and there from small stores such as bars and so on, maybe a pack out sandwich, to the bigger stores, the co-ops and stuff, which are en route for a larger resupply, back up to say a 3-day kind of supply carry load. There's pubs, and you can get a meal there, and coffee shops, sandwiches, coffee, snacks, honesty boxes. Honesty boxes seem to be quite a few of those, and also youth hostels and barn camping areas where you pay a fee of, could be £5 or £10, and they have facilities for you. You can camp, and they have hiker huts where you can buy things such as the honesty box items, plus they have tea, coffee, electricity outlets to recharge your battery packs and so on. So those are my plans. I doubt very much if I'd be spending the money on like any bed and breakfasts, although depending on weather, how I'm feeling and the hip, it's possible I would get one, maybe just one, because I do want to primarily hike it on a reasonable budget for me, which is primarily wild camping, hostels, commercial campgrounds, this kind of thing, but primarily staying in my shelter, which by the way will be my Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2, and that will be the tent. I just bid on a tent today. A gentleman is selling a tent on Marketplace, and not too far from me, and it's a single person nature hike tent, a little heavy, coming in at about £3.5 for a single person tent, but he was asking, he said it's like new, I only used once, he was asking $75. I offered him $50 for it, and he come back to me and he said, I have a gentleman coming tonight, but you know what, if he doesn't come tonight, I might be able to grab that tent for $50, which would be okay. But yeah, I'll be using my Tiger Wall UL2, which I like. I like the space of a 2-man tent, and it's lighter. It comes in at like 2 pounds 5 ounces, I believe. I forget now exactly how, 2.5 pounds maybe. I think it's my backpack. It comes in at 2 pounds 5 ounces. Yeah. So that's a little bit of what my plan is. Well, the hike goes well. Yeah. Feeling good, feeling strong, doing fine. Heavy pack, but you know what? It settles in there just like it's supposed to. Yeah. So, just carrying on a little bit more with my itinerary and so on. Oh, by the way, normally I have paid, well, it used to be $10 a day, then it went to $15, now it's $16 a day for Rogers Roam Like Home, which means you can essentially, for $16 a day, you can use your phone just like you would at home with no additional costs other than your regular phone bill plus $16 a day. But for the time I'm going to be gone, that's $450 this time. Now, I did it last time, 2023, when I went to the UK, and for the amount of time I was there, it cost me around, I think it was 300 or 320. But this time at 450, it's getting ridiculous. So what I've elected to do, I checked into this, is get a eSIM. I use an iPhone 15, and my iPhone 15 is compatible. And the company, there's several companies. My daughter travels a lot. She uses Vodafone. But upon my investigation on which is the best one for what I'm doing, E company, that's just 2 letter E's, seems to be the all-around best as far as coverage, reviews, city uses, rural uses, and so on. There are dead spots on the trail, regardless of what you use. And for somewhere around 60, 70 Canadian dollars, I can buy a 1 month, a 30-day package that gives me like more than enough data, 50 gigs or something, plus a couple of 100 minutes local calls. I think some minutes, a short amount, maybe 120-minute international calls, unlimited texting and so on, which means with that package, I can communicate with family through WhatsApp, that's data, and the local minutes, be it minutes and text messaging and data, will allow me to research, review, and book bunks, hostels, book camp spots in commercial sites and so on, book train tickets. I do have some traveling to do, which we'll get to in a few minutes. So that's what I'm thinking of trying this time, the eSIM. I hope it's a good service, because I really don't want to spend $450 to Rogers on that. And I did try last time getting a physical SIM, and I went with a company that, well, I thought it was okay for me getting a physical SIM and being able to call Canada and so on with a package. But when I put it in my phone, now then it was the iPhone SE that I was using, 2022 model. But anyhow, when I put it in my phone, it just wouldn't work. It just didn't get recognized. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this eSIM because it has great reviews of people traveling, not just in the UK, but all over Europe and all over the world. It's available from many different countries. So that's going to be my communication at a huge savings. The trail I'm doing, the Coast to Coast Trail, St. Bees on the west coast of the Irish Sea, heading east to the east coast of England and the North Sea, just under 200 miles. People are taking anywhere, well, I've seen it as low as 7 days, which is craziness. I can't do that. I never could. But 10 to 14 to 16, 18 days. So I'm hoping to do it in a good time, but I don't want to go too crazy, obviously because of the hip, but also I do want to take my pictures and so on. Once, assuming we complete the coast to coast, we're then train traveling back up to north, just a northern suburb of Glasgow, to Mulgai. You remember Mulgai from 2023 when we yo-yoed the West Highland Trail, because yep, we're going to do that trail again, heading north from Glasgow to Fort William. So those are two trails. From Fort William, we're at the gateway of the Great Glen Way. We wanted to do that back in 2023, but we elected to yo-yo the West Highland Way instead. I'm hoping to do that this time. That is a 100-mile or 80 mile trail. West Highland Way is about 100 miles. So it's quite a bit. It's around somewhere around 360 mile total load in miles. So that would be, I don't know, 600 and some kilometers for the total. And will I be able to do that in the time I have, returning on June the 26th? With the travelling, I have to travel back to Glasgow, of course, from Inverness, where the Great Glen Way would end. A lot of that just depends on, can I maintain a good daily average of kilometers or of miles? And if I can, then there's a possibility that I could complete the 3. It's not a quest. It's not a must-do 3. Those are the 3 I've picked. If I was there for another few days, it would be written in stone. But I'm not. So, definitely the coast to coast attempt. I should complete it, all being well, barring any accidents. From there, definitely be able to complete, barring any accident, the West Highland Way. And then we'll see at that point what we have left for time. Can we put in the Great Glen Way? Love to. That would be 2 new trails this year, the Coast to Coast and the Great Glen Way, which I'd be delighted with. Okay, basically. Oh, and that's one of the reasons of flying into Glasgow, not to mention the great price, which I've told you about before, $850 or so, with baggage, checked baggage, everything, taxes, the whole bit, return direct flight, perfect, great price. And that's so. And doing the Scottish trails, if I do finish in rather Fort Williams or Inverness, it's a relatively easy train ride back to Glasgow for my return flight to Toronto. Hence, those are the reasons I picked Glasgow. It also leaves the door open for another UK adventure, which of course is a trail that you've heard me talk about, which is the Pennine Way. That's also on the bucket list. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's keep going. Doing fine. Once again, at the Ambrose Camp Side Trail. But we are not stopping here this time. This time, we're going to continue, as we'd mentioned earlier, to increase our mileage. However, we are coming back this way. And when we do, we will be stopping here at Ambrose for our lunch break. More blowdowns. Right behind me, right across the trail. That's way too big for me to move, so I'm not even going to try. Okay, we're going to continue now to get that extra mileage, and then once we reach the next, I guess, county road or town line or whatever it is, side road, there's a side of the road parking there, and that's going to be our turnaround point. And as I said, then we'll come back and stop at the Ambrose for our lunch break on our way back, to give us a total of 20 kilometers today. That's the plan for now. Anyhow, let's go. Right here, we're coming out to the side of the road parking area. In the next concession, there's a sign across the way, and I think it says Rockland Creek. We'll take a little peek at that, just for the heck of it. But that will complete, I believe it's a little over 10 kilometers so far. Yeah, Rockland Creek Management Area. Wow, some beautiful wild camping spots through here. No doubt about that. Oh yeah. Just take a look right here, right next to the trail. Beautiful, beautiful little camp spot. Rockland Creek Management Area, Grey Sable Conservation. Okay. Well, this is going to be our turnaround point. We are now heading back. We will be stopping at the Ambrose rest area for our lunch break, as we know. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get to it. Descending down the wet, muddy, slippy, swamped descent into the Ambrose overnight rest area for our lunch break. Oh yeah. I'm ready for my lunch break today. I have my usual. The odd time I'll bring a protein type sandwich, but quite often it's a Tupperware bowl with rather granola or bran and some kind of fruit, which would be a mixture of strawberries, blueberries, cantaloupe, raspberries, blackberries, that kind of thing, and plain Greek yogurt. And I have the yogurt today. That's what I have today. So my fruits today are strawberries and cantaloupe. Bran for fiber, and the Greek yogurt for the protein. Low fat, zero fat, and plain. And we are here, the Ambrose overnight rest area. Honey, I'm home. It's hard to say how vibrant, how saturated the green moss looks on the GoPro. But to the eye, man, it's almost glowing. It's almost neon green, especially with the contrasting tree trunks. It's absolutely beautiful through here. Oh yeah, just beautiful. So at 12 weeks post-op, total hip replacement, left hip. How does it feel? Well, in all truthfulness, what happens is, how it was explained to me by the surgeons and doctors and so on, was my body will favor my left hip, which means my left leg, left hip, glute, and so on, the muscles around the left hip were all much weaker than my right side. For probably a couple of years before I had the surgery, my body had been favoring the left side and making the right side do all the work, which meant the muscles were much weaker on my left side. That was demonstrated to me pre-operation by physiotherapy, who had me do different exercises with my left leg and my right leg to see the difference. And it was quite clear my right leg had double the strength or more of my left side. So even now, when I'm in the gym, I isolate both left and right with leg extensions, leg curls, and so on, leg presses. I isolate, which means I make the left side work by itself. I also do the right side, but I make the left side work by itself so I can catch up. The left side can catch up, equalize, which takes time, and it hurts, and it's uncomfortable. As far as hiking, well, I think it was about 2 weeks after I had my surgery is when I first went to the walking track at the new arena in Wasaga Beach with my cane. And I did a video on that, and I said, we're just going to try to do, 1 or 2 laps, see how it feels. Well, we did 5 that day, and we kept going back, and we kept going back and going back and going back and building on that 5 laps to eventually 10 laps, and eventually 15, and eventually 20 and 25 and so on. Until the point came where, okay, I'm going to start to walk outside. I was scared to walk outside because of the snow and the ice. This was all happening through the winter months, February and March, and I was very susceptible to dislocation of the hip if I fell, or even without falling, but that was just because of my particular circumstance. But when I did get outside, I started just gently with my trekking poles. I've done many videos on it in Tiny Township on the Ganaraska Trail. We started out, and I think the first day we did, I don't know, was it 8 kilometers, I think. 8 kilometers with just a very light day pack with a couple of snacks in it and so on. And we just built from there. And we've been steadily building the best we can with a combination of hiking and gym work and the actual physio itself within the hospital and so on, to where we are today, 12 weeks post-op now, a little over 12 and a half weeks post-op, and today we're at full pack weight, single file trail, not the most elevation gain, but some elevation gain, but muddy, rocky, rooty, wet, challenging, no doubt about that. we're doing today will actually be 20.5 kilometers, again with full pack when we're finished. So that's where we're at today. How does it feel? Well, it feels okay. I feel good. My stamina is building. Again, my trail legs slowly building and returning to me. For sure, I know that they are, bit by bit. And so how do I feel in the hip itself? Well, you certainly know you have some kind of a prosthesis, if you will. I believe mine to be stainless steel. The bar that goes into my femur is apparently longer than normal because a lot of my bones was dead due to my avascular necrosis, which was my issue. So it required a longer than normal bar being inserted into the femur and so on. And I definitely know it's there, but bit by bit, I mentioned that just to the surgeon just a few days ago. I met with him on Tuesday and today's Friday. So I met with him on Tuesday this week for my 12-week checkup. He said I was doing, his words were, I've done remarkable. So that gave me encouragement right there. They did x-rays, so the x-rays look good. And he's going to see me again in 9 months. January the 6th, I go back for x-rays. And it said it's just a matter of making sure nothing's moved out of place. It concerns me because I use it, as you can see. We definitely use our bodies. Rugged trail climbing, rocks, scrambling, hiking, carrying heavy packs. We definitely, as through hikers, we definitely use our body. But anyhow, what's the point in having one if we're not going to use it, right? So yeah, that feels fine. And my progress is progressing, I believe, as normal. What does that mean as far as through hiking is concerned? Well, as I mentioned, today will be 20.5 kilometers. And I've still got about 6.5 of those to go. But I feel fine. Oh, sure, legs are still achy, but they're going to be. Before I had the issues with the hip, my legs would have been achy. So that's normal. Age, I'm not getting any younger at approaching 68 now. So again, what does it mean for through hiking? Well, to me it means this. If I can do 20.5 kilometers today on this particular trail, the Bruce Trail, Sydenham sections and Beaver Valley sections. When I go to the UK or anywhere else coming up, to be honest with you, I feel I will be able to execute and maintain full through hiking distances each day. Now for me, that means 25 kilometers a day minimum. Now, I was resigning myself to the fact that, okay, if I could do 20 kilometers a day, I'd be doing great. And I'm still there with that. I'm good with 20. But I think I'll be able to carry out and maintain 25 plus or minus kilometers per day, full pack, generally speaking. Now, in 2022, when I did the Appalachian, so much depends on the actual trail, the terrain. My overall average on the Appalachian Trail was 21 kilometers a day. My overall average. I think it was 13 miles, so whatever that works out to be. So,
and then immediate left.
You're going to be hearing another
the
voice.
Footpath sign.
That's the voice
that's where we're going.
of the taxi driver.
The lane.
And his channel,
You can see
his
the
YouTube channel, is walking
sign
with the
in front
taxi
of you.
driver.
Just
This
keep
guy
heading forwards.
hikes over
Within a few
all over the
minutes,
UK.
we're walking by
I
the
often
side of the river.
listen
Down below, we've got
to his
the
videos as I'm hiking. Take a little listen for a
the
few
bridge.
minutes.
We just keep heading straight forward. We'll be crossing over that on our way back. We head forward through the gate. So we're following the river now, all the way to Wath. You're walking with a taxi driver today in the Yorkshire Dales, Paisley Bridge. This is only a small walk, but we hope to see a lot. That's looking right. We just keep heading forward through the gates. Easy one to follow this.
I don't know. He's a Yorkshireman for sure,
15 feet in front of us.
just as I. However, he sounds a little different than I do. I left Yorkshire when I was 20. Came to the great country of Canada.
Good shot. He's gone. Can you hear it?
Seeking fame and fortune. I
There he
found
is.
neither,
We keep going.
but here we are. Pushing 50 years later.
And again.
Wow.
There's the view to
Anyhow.
the other side of the valley.
The hike continues,
Some of the style.
and I'm going to continue
We're walking
listening
on the
to
old railway line
the taxi driver.
that took the people and the equipment up. You could start the walk from here if you want.
Well, guys,
There's a plaque
with
showing
2
you the
kilometers
history of
left to go,
Perslock. Right, let's
I am
get
going to sign off. I'm enjoying listening to the taxi driver and his walks. Today, he's walking on this particular walk I just started for him is on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, which is a place I used to play as a kid. Yeah, it is.
The canal crosses over the river.
You know what? Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe. Jasper needs you. Our channel needs you. It will help us bring more content. Thank you. Jasper is
We can see the
out.
cows under the tree, keeping cool on the top.